Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. Hope all of you had an amazing weekend. So, to get started, let me introduce we have Kara Jean with us, our business coach, Irina Pornova, our manifestation coach, and today we have our relationships coach, Dalin Spinal. So, welcome all of you. Thank you very much for being here. So, to get started, the topic today is going to be choosing your life partner. So, we're going to be dabbling on a little bit of everything. So, please, if you start going with the live comments, give us a little bit of time. We will all try to reply as quickly as we can. So, we will get started. So, let's start with the good things about relationships, about all those good feelings that it gives us. So, out of my time when I was married, I remember a lot of good things along the marriage. But even before that, when you just get to meet the person for the first time and everything, it's is that nervousness that you are gonna mess up at the beginning. When you meet somebody, you try to your best not to mess up, and I think that that happens on both sides, with the ladies and with the guys. I don't know. I'm a guy. I can only speak for me, but I would love to hear what the ladies have to say. You can all go at once.
Anybody brave? Okay, let me do that. Let me do that. I totally agree, Johnny. I think it's great to be in a good and loving relationship when people understand each other, when people hear each other and just grow together. I think it's very important because any relationship we are in, it's all for our growth, right? Because people change and we all evolve, and with that it's expected for the relationship to evolve as well. So the good thing is, obviously, you are more happy when you're in a loving and healthy relationship, whether it's a marriage or just dating or just have that special person in your life without a particular title, right?
Hmm.
When you feel fulfilled, every day is so beautiful and you enjoy every moment of it, and you're showing up your best, right? You're trying to be your best because you want to contribute to that relationship and you want that relationship to grow and become better every day in every way.
That is true. That is true.
So I think also, like when you were saying, a lot of times people are afraid of messing up. I'm revisiting that view currently, thinking, why do we try to make such a good impression on somebody we don't really know very much? Like, why are we trying to impress someone that we really are just starting to get to know? So when you do that, you step out of being your true identity and you start putting on what you think the other person wants to see. And that's not a good start.
No.
I don't think that's a good start, even though I've done it.
So important,
you
so
know?
important.
So
Hmm.
that's one thing. And the other thing is, you know, um, being authentic. Like, we are there. I think now when I meet somebody, it's like, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to see who you are and what you are about. And I hope you do the same thing, to try to see who I am and what I am about. Because sometimes we put more effort in the beginning than afterwards. After, let's say, you made the commitment, I think now is the time to say, you know what? I made the commitment. Let me put my best foot forward. Let me put my all in. But sometimes we have it backwards, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. So I think, yeah, the good parts of a relationship, that it's the being seen, it's the being heard, it's somebody wanting to see and hear you, right? That they don't do it because they feel like they're your parent and they're obligated, or they're your friend and that's what you do. Like, to genuinely have someone seek you out because they want to know more about you, it feels good. But yeah, I would agree with that. I think that we think we get to a point where we start to think we know the other person, and then we don't have to put in the effort because we already know, except other people's brains work different than mine. And if you don't keep asking those questions, you don't keep treating it like you still want to learn and know about that other person and what's changing with them so that you can learn and change with them, it gets gross real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then because you're trying to impress a person at the beginning, you're not focused on getting to know them. Like your mind is not in them. Your mind is in you, analyzing what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, so you're not present with them. What do you think, John?
And not only
And
that, I mean, there's so many people with so many gimmicks nowadays. Those guys that try to teach you those cheesy pickup lines and use this method to meet the girl of your dreams, or use this, and I'm like, guys, why do you make it so complicated? Right before we went on the live, Irina was saying, "Oh, the what was it that you said that the common things that guys do I don't remember
Yeah, their playbook,
the
the playbook,
playbook." Yes,
right? Of the
so
guys is so, like cliche, so simple, so not original, and not so much fun. And we could dive into that deeper, but yeah, that's true.
and that is true. I'm gonna speak from the guy's perspective because that's what I know. And that is true. You get so
Mhm.
many well-intentioned people telling you, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should," when in reality, in my experience, ladies are so much more simpler than that. A good wine, a good conversation, everything else just is history. So
I think,
um
oh, sorry.
go ahead,
Sorry,
Daniel.
John, I interrupted you.
No, but go ahead.
Okay, so I think that tactics, nobody wants to be like, we are taught tactics, and gimmicks, like you say, but nobody wants tactics being used on them.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, if somebody is like, check, step one, step two, step three. If somebody has you like in a checklist,
Hmm.
when you feel that, that's not authentic. How are you gonna create a union and a connection using unauthentic methods
Yeah.
instead of
Yes,
just understanding principles and working with principles?
and I understand that. The thing is that it's so much more different for the guys out there. I don't know if you ladies saw, there was this example that they put on just to test it out, test the idea out, that picking or finding a good girl, or any girl in particular, is harder for guys than for women to pick up a guy. They put these two pictures on Tinder. One was this really cute girl, nothing showing, nothing, the girl was dressed properly, because as we know, when you put pictures where their skin showing, more than likely your ladies are gonna get a lot more attention, right?
Oh,
So
it doesn't
they
matter
have
if your skin's showing, Johnny. Let me just clear up that misnomer. You could be in a paper bag and you're gonna still get some unwanted attention. Yeah.
and that's what the little test showed. And you're right, they had this
Yeah.
girl that was dressed really nice and everything, and then they had, for the other profile, both of the profiles were created by a guy. The other profile was created by a girl that was not so flattering, and she was not very good looking. She really, her hair, her face, her makeup was all like, oh my god, I will run from it. And both girls got, of course, the prettier one got a bunch of likes, like on the hundreds, and the other one went up to 80 in a span of a week. And then they created one with a real guy that created the two fake profiles. Nothing, not even one. So I understand the guys, and I do not support those gimmicks, but yes, the TV, Hollywood, and everything has messed it up for all of us. And I say, ladies and guys, because they try to make us do everything perfect. The perfect first date, the perfect first kiss, the perfect. There's no such thing.
Exactly. It's like the
Perfect.
focus is in the wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the focus is in the wrong. It's pardon to say the same word again. The focus is in the wrong focus. I don't know how to say it. Like you're focusing on the wrong thing. Because for
Yes.
example, when you say choosing a life partner, the main word there is life. So your focus should be your life. And then to get a partner for that life that you already have or that you are creating. So that's not about impressing somebody. That's about this is my life. What is your life? Do those two lives match? Like, do those two lives go together? Can we enjoy those two lives together? And that's not what we're taught
No.
at all.
No.
Nor how it works. I mean, right? So it's sort of like we put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable when it comes to relationships, right?
Kara, you're amazing.
I'm gonna use that one. I'm gonna use that.
Yes, do, because it is from a female point of view, in like the situation John was talking about, it feels predatory. It does not feel like any of those guys are out trying to have a relationship. It does sound like they want to relate with your body, but that does not mean that they want a relationship with your person.
Yeah.
Right. And for a guy, it's like, I'm trying. I don't know why it's not working. And it's because the girls are like, ah! And the guys are like, come on. So it's, the emphasis is on the wrong syllable. We are so busy trying to do what we think or are told. Find that good girl, find that nice guy. What does that even mean? Like, why can't you just go meet another human being and find out if this other human being is somebody you want in your life? And then, shocker, if you really want someone to partner with, treat them like a partner. And there's a lot of misinformation around that too. We say partnerships are 50-50. That's never accurate. That's
Yes.
assuming that both people are coming in with 100% to give. I don't know about you, but some days I got 10. Like, that's just real life. And I have to look at my partner and be like, today's a 10. And he's like, cool, I got a solid 40, so we're good. I'm like, cool. Or he's be like, I'm at a 10 too. And I was like, cool. So Netflix and chill, right on.
And
And
that's the go ahead.
sorry, I would say, Kara, that is 100, because if you are at a 10 and you're willing to give your 10, guess what? You're giving 100. And if you're at a
Yeah.
40 and you're willing to give the 40 because you respect that other human being you brought into your life, then you are at 100. It's not 50-50, it's 100. Even if it's a 10, a 40, a 30,
What you got?
I feel.
Yes.
Hmm.
I would agree. Yes.
That is
And
100% right.
that's so important about what Darlene mentioned about being authentic, because that's what people are like overlooking, trying to pretend who they are not. And like I said, if the person likes you, they have to like you for who you truly are, because there is no better way to express yourself than just be yourself. Then when you feel absolutely happy, when you feel absolutely fulfilled, and this is the relationship that you would like to be in.
Hmm. And the thing is that society has turned relationships in this movie type of thing that everybody's trying to make it beautiful and perfect and Instagram perfect. And on top of that, we have come to the situation where we're not dating to meet, but we're dating to mate. And that is the situation. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the second one. Please don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you don't want to give the wrong idea to somebody who's dating to meet and then break their heart just because that day you were feeling extra special. So that's one of it. Uh, I don't know. This hookup culture has also made it so simple for girls to say, "Oh, my body count is on the hundreds, or on the thousands," which again, nothing wrong. If you're into that, go for it. But just remember that down the road, because you did not show your true colors, you didn't have a plan of where you were gonna land. Then years down the road, you're single and it's like, oh, I cannot connect with anybody. Of course, everything, all your resources, all your spiritual things, you have spared it through the world with as many people as you could.
And what you said about breaking people's hearts because people are dating. I mean, a lot of times people just want to hook up, you know? And so sometimes you can hook up with a person and maybe you're not in it, but then the person might get in it. You know, it's like you're not taking into consideration the other person's heart. You know, let's say
Oh no.
you're not looking
Phone.
for attachment. The other person is looking. Carol?
No, you froze, but you came back. So keep going. Keep going. You're on a roll. Go.
Okay, so I was saying when you date just to date, like just to have fun, I get it. If that's your choice, I get it. But taking into consideration other people's hearts, because if they get attached to you, maybe they are looking for a love commitment. So it's like one more heartbreak unnecessarily. Because we can have fun all the time, but we don't have to have fun by hurting others. Also, I think.
Yeah, I think that goes to communication, right? So in this day and age, you
Mhm.
cannot assume that monogamy is the way. I mean, women got equal rights in 1978. So it's not even been 100 years since we traded human beings, right? Like for a commodity. So that's like a socially, there are wholly bunches of things to unpack. You really just got to set that aside and look at who you are and who you're looking for, and then ask those questions. Are you looking for a monogamous relationship? Are you just looking for a hookup? Is polyamory your thing? What kind of relationships are you liking? What are you hoping for? Are you willing to adapt should things change? First
Hmm.
dates
I
are not
love
meant
it.
to be movie and dinner. They're meant to be a deep conversation of like, should we even bother doing this again?
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
but
Kara,
Exactly.
so beautifully brought up. I just wanted to mention that exactly, like this is the show that's coming up for me and Bruno that we are going to be doing. It's exactly like diving deep into the relationships, understanding that, you either love it or shove it, right? Because to each its own, there is no one rule that fits everybody because like you mentioned, somebody wants to be monogamous, somebody wants to be, in polyamory, somebody wants to stay in the open relationship, somebody wants to be in the committed marriage. So to each its own, and it's just for us to understand deep down who we are and what kind of relationships we would prefer.
Like,
And then when we are meeting people, we have to be upfront and open and saying this is exactly what like makes my heart beat. That's what ignites my soul, right? Ignites the fire in me, and there is nothing wrong with that. Just be open, just be free to be
Say
me,
it.
be yourself, and just be authentic and just say how it is. And there is nothing wrong about it. I think it's the beauty of our uniqueness that once we understand who we are, we know exactly what makes us happy.
hmm and we should learn to embrace that part, whichever side you're on, because a lot of taboos and a lot of things have been said of, oh, if you like polyamory, if you like swinging, if you like whatever you figure it's your essence, embrace it.
So true, Johnny. So true. And it's like, a lot of people don't even talk about it. It's like, hush, hush. But yet, you have to be who you are, who you meant to be, and what makes you, like what makes you rock.
Hmm.
And
so I
recognize
think
that it's going to change, right? Like just like your hair and your body changes as you grow, your emotional and physical needs are also going to change. So just because at 18 you're like polyamory is my thing doesn't mean that at 45 you're not going to be like I'm ready to be monogamous. Or if you're monogamous at 16 and then you decide, you know what, at 52 me and my husband are going to have an open relationship. It's going to change because so are you. That's why relationships are dynamic and fun and hard.
Hmm.
Love it. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, Kara, love it, love it, love it. That's so true. It's just to recognize that part and be receptive, not be judgmental, and just understand that we grow and evolve, and our views, also our values, reshape themselves, right? Because something that was at least brought up at the society level at one point, or whatever parents were teaching us, or whatever we read from books or watched at the movies, maybe at one day we wake up and we said, no, this is not me. That's not what fits my ideal picture of life. And I want to live on my terms, and I want to have the relationship the way I view that. And be sure that you always are going to meet these people who love exactly what you love. Don't ever deny yourself saying that, oh my gosh, I'm such a weirdo. There is nobody the same way as I am. Plenty. It's like full of people who are like-minded people, who share the same values, who love the same freaky things, whoever likes what, right? It's just a matter of opening yourself up and just be authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think the topic, life partner, if you are understanding your life and you're owning your life, then the best thing is to have a conversation about it, not to just go have fun, I think, and laugh and enjoy and then feel connected to a person that you don't know what's inside of them because there was no conversation. When you're choosing the life partner, if you just go out and have fun, you can have fun with anybody, even if you don't believe the same things. And even if you don't
Yes.
agree on the same things, even if you're not going to the same direction in life, you can have fun with them because you whatever you do in the date, it can be fun. So I like what I'm telling my daughter is the point of dating is to get to know the other person and for the other person to get to know you. And that is done through honest, open, authentic conversation without trying to impress anybody. And like you said, instead of going to the movies, because who talks at a movie? I mean, me and my kids talk when we
Who
watch a movie,
watches
but
the movie? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, but when you go, exactly, but when you go to the movies, you don't go to talk. And then you're like, oh, let's do this again. That was fun. Really? You could have done that with anybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not about that. It's the open, honest conversation, communication to see all those nitty gritties. So that
Mm-hmm.
to see if it's a good idea, like you said, like Kara said, to see if we want to do this again. Do what again? Have fun? No, no, no. Get to know each other more in a deeper level. And then if there's no connection in life, then nobody has to get hurt.
Yep.
It's just you don't need what you have. You don't need what I have. Okay, we can continue our lives normally, like nothing happened.
Yeah, we can be
It's
friends. We can say hello from once in a blue moon, and that's about it. That brings me to my next topic, which is Karen mentioned the questions that you should ask. But lately on the dating pool, I've noticed that the first question you have to ask, no matter if it's a guy or girl, first questions: Are you married?
Yes.
Which is a sad situation because you shouldn't be asking if they're already flirting and going back and forward and kissing and whatnot. You should already know or say that up front.
I mean, you'd think so, right? But some husbands are into that. I know a couple who are like that. He sends her out to go pick up guys.
No, no, I
okay.
know a couple like that actually
And
the
to
husband
each
told them,
its own.
"Wait,
That's what
wait,
I'm
no,
saying.
wait,
Whatever rocks their boat,
yes,
But
right?
yes,
As
ask
long
that
as
question.
there is a
Yes.
communication and agreement saying, okay, you're allowed to do X, and while I'm doing Y. If they know about it, if they are fine with that, I don't see any reason why not.
Right. But to Johnny's point, that transparency, right? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I I would lean on the side of I don't think Johnny needs to ask that question. I think if you're in that relationship, you should be providing, and I don't should a lot of people, but you should be providing that information because otherwise you are entering into a relationship already with limited consent. You have withheld information from the other person, so they cannot consent to this relationship with you because they don't know.
mm-hmm,
The thing is that you cannot put, and not to go against what you're saying, Kara. It will be the best thing for people to openly volunteer important information, but we cannot put the ball on other people's court.
Right.
mm-hmm,
We have to take responsibility and, like John said, ask the right questions, the important questions. And then you guys, I don't mean to be like super like old fashioned or whatever, But I am just getting to realizing if you go into the physical too fast, then you won't want to talk too much because it's more interesting and more
Hormone soup.
pleasurable to the physical, and then you might
Yeah.
get more attached to the person. Let's say if you're looking for a long term, let's say marriage relationship, if you get attached too soon, then the conversations are not had, and then later it's like, oh, I thought this and I thought that, or I assumed this, I assumed that, and then it's like a waste of time to me if that's what you're looking for. I think,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Irina.
and you're right. The only difference is that, or what I have found out on my end, whenever things get physical soon, that for us, for the guys, I think we have like an on-off switch, and for the ladies, it's not that way.
No, it's opposite. I would say, like, let's say after you got what you wanted, then you get your switch goes off, and your hunting and interest desire minimizes. But then after you get physical, in my experience, then the woman's interest and focus and investment maximizes, usually, in my experience. So I think we're
Mhm.
both cheating ourselves because then you don't get to show your true colors, and then she doesn't get to show her true colors. And then it comes up little by little, and then the disappointment, and then it's like, oh, this is not for me, you know. If that's what you're looking for, I don't think that's the way to get it. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Can I hormone soup this? You know I love this stuff.
Please.
Oxytocin. Let's talk about oxytocin and our hormone soup. So we know that oxytocin is what happens when moms breastfeed. It helps you connect with the new child. You use it in goats and animals. You actually inject them in oxytocin if you are removing one child so that you can bring another child in because it allows them to connect. So it works essentially the same way in humans. It's like a connection hormone. It gives you that like warm fuzzy feeling. You can, and we thought it was just like a mother child thing. Come to find out, no, it just happens. And the two fastest ways to get that as an adult is through meeting somebody new and genuinely interacting with them, or positive physical touch. And we're hormone junkies. Like, that's part of being a meat suit full of hormone soup, right?
Yes.
So those of us who take the time and really have a conversation, we tend to gravitate. So even if sex comes into that situation, we're already getting that solid dose of oxytocin every time we meet someone new. So the sex doesn't connect so much. But if you're not, if you're in there presenting, but then you get some good physical touch, you're like, oh yeah, more of that, more of the happy, fluffy juice. Thank you. And you can lose track of everything else because your hormone soup gets all sideways.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, then that takes me to the next point. So you have already found somebody that is okay, interesting. You like hanging out with them, and then what? And I say then what just because for most people it's like, okay, I'm just gonna, or for some people it's like, I'm gonna keep acting as a single person although I now have somebody in my life. I don't know, for me as a guy, uh, I think that once you have somebody, you have somebody and you have to respect that. But for some people, and just because I have three women doesn't mean that I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say next.
Why we love you, Johnny.
Oh no, honesty, honesty.
I just see a lot of women that once they have somebody in their lives, they just want to keep acting single, and they're like, well, you met me like this, and please don't get me wrong, if you like certain things, like we mentioned, you should have spoken about those things earlier. That's the
Your
chapter we
preference.
just closed. But the part that you should respect certain things, like for example, if you now have a boyfriend and you have a bunch of guys flirting still with you, although through maybe not personally but through Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever, and you don't politely close the door, because we're not asking to close that immediately as like, that's it, I'm taken, please do not ever talk to me.
You are now
But
locked in the tower. Yeah.
I'm talking of like, hey, I'm right now off the market. Take a ticket. Wait and see if this happens again.
Yeah.
I can share what I'm doing, what I'm choosing to do now to, I guess, to focus on that problem, like to prevent that problem. And it's what
Okay.
I'm teaching my 18-year-old, and she seems to be liking it too. So what I'm doing now is I understand, and you guys, you can, ladies can say what you think, but I think in my experience, men and women, we can have a certain type of relationship, but not super like two girls. In my case, I feel that men usually in my life, either they're interested in me or it's because it's business or something. But usually, if they know I'm single and they are single, usually they have an interest other than just being regular friends. It's in my case, that's what I've experienced. So what I'm doing now is I am keeping the relationship with men very ¿cómo se dice? How do you say this? Professional.
Okay.
So with men, I behave very professionally, and if they have any intention, I always say, right now I am not available, and I am not trying to be your friend. For example, some men, I say, you're like my brother from another mother, or this is a business relationship. Or when they ask me out, I say, what is the purpose of you wanting to take me out for lunch? Is it to talk about business, talk about mission, to talk about, the nonprofit organization, or is it a personal interest? Right now I'm not available. So I keep it very, like that. And my daughter now, for example, she's when she talks to a young man, she's saying like, "Oh, sir," like to keep him a little bit far because she's like, "I'm not available right now." She's 18. She's like, "I'm focusing on me. When I have my finances straight, when my life is in order, then I'll be open to a relationship." So what I think is that, not too much words, is that if you are in a certain way before you get in a relationship, like John is saying, then you can just continue being that same way. But if you're used to flirting and flirting and flirting, it's kind of hard to stop it. Just because now you're in a marriage. If you're used to something, like let's say you're a man and you're used to talking to a bunch of girls and saying them sweet things, nice things, making them feel good and getting that high from their giggles and from their feeling good with you. When you have one woman, it's gonna be hard for you to cut all those, you know, fountains of joy that you're used to having. And it's not fair for that one woman to now try to make up for those 15 that you were used to kissing and hugging and telling them cute things in the morning. I don't know. That's what I think. I think that you should start respecting that person before you meet them. You should start doing the habits that you want to do after. Because I don't want my husband at 2 o'clock in the morning talking to five, six, seven girls in Facebook, me personally. So I would like him to not do that now, so that when we are together, it's not something like, man, now I cannot do this because now I'm with darling. I don't want it to be like a boring thing now. I don't know what you guys think.
Hmm.
I have thoughts, but I want to give Arena a chance because I feel like like I just keep talking.
Yeah, you really.
It's so nice to give each other turns. Thank you, Kara. You know what I was thinking? It just like we were mentioning before, to each its own. So there is no one size fits all. Whatever is good for me is not good for Kara, is not good for Johnny, is not good for Dailene. So when we are expressing our opinions, it's just our opinions. It's not that this is exactly take it with, how it is and just implement in your life. Absolutely not. That information just has to be resonating with everybody who's listening to the show, and it just for everybody to kind of start analyzing and understand that which exactly the direction they would love to move, right? Because as we were mentioning, it's like whatever rocks your boat, whatever makes you happy, but just be upfront with anybody that you're connecting with anybody you're trying to meet on the social media or in person. Just be, authentic self and tell as is. So this is like, first of all, it's respect for yourself. That's how I look at it. It's not about, like covering the information for another person not to know what you're all about, but it just to be in integrity with your own self, with your, like self image, with who you are, and then see, where it's going to take you, how that other person is going to perceive the information that you're sharing with them, because this is exactly what's going to form like the basic and the foundation for that relationship to develop going forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to piggyback on that before I pass it back to John. Yes. So I think that a lot of what we've talked about in this are really good best practices that might really work for general populace. But the thing that really matters in a relationship is you don't get to control the other person ever, period. And they don't get to control you ever, period. So if you are hooking up with a girl and she's got like 16 social media things and she's chatting with everybody, you can say, hey, that makes me feel a kind of way and I don't love the way it makes me feel. Can we unpack that? But you can't say you don't get to have social media. If you hook up with a guy
No.
and he's got 16 girlfriends and they have like systematic party dates that they go on, you can't say you don't get to hang out with your girls anymore. You get to say, hey, when you go spend all that time with these other girls, it makes me feel a kind of way and I need to unpack that so we can decide what we're going to do about it if we're going to go forward together. You only have control over three things in life, my friends: the way you think, the way you speak, and the way you behave. And if we stop assuming what somebody else ought to do and just ask the questions we need to ask, say the things that we need to say, and be who we are, relationships become a lot simpler. Not easier, but simpler. Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Kara just wanted to say truth and wisdom. Love it, love it, love it. Every word is love, because the communication is the key. Okay, Johnny, now to you.
No, what I was gonna say,
And I
what
wanted to
Kara
say
says.
something.
Sure, go
No,
ahead, Ali.
sorry, John. If no, I can go after you. I can go after you.
Okay. Um, the thing is that I agree with Kara 1,000,000% on that. You have no way of controlling the other person. 100%. I think that love, controlled love, ends up being in one of the two people getting asphyxiated and wanting to run as far as they can. So I agree with you. And I love that we have all these points of view, because yes, you're right. We should unpack that. We should let the other person know, hey, this is what happens, and then depending upon how the other person reacts, that's how you make your decision. Because if the other person says, you know what, now that I know that you don't like it because you verbally told me, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. So would that make you comfortable? If the person accommodates, great. But if the person says, you know what, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, let them go. Let that headache go quick, please, because you're not gonna change that person, no matter how
Exactly.
much you want to. And that brings me
Exactly.
back.
And we shouldn't.
Go
I
ahead. I'm
sorry,
sorry.
John.
No, and that brings me back
No,
to what
that
you were saying, Darlene, because I wanted to mention one thing, and I want everybody to go back to the age of the rocks, back when the cavemen used to rock. You know, it's easy and it's great for you to say that women should be the ones, putting that distance from the beginning if they don't want anything at that moment. But for men, it doesn't work that way. Let's look at how it was, and that's how we're already wired. Although now we're a society, a structure, and whatnot, certain things they still apply. Women used to mate back with the cavemen with the ones that hunted, not with the ones that went and gathered. So I'm so sorry, but that one does not apply for men. I have to disagree with Darlene on that one. For men, for women, I have to agree.
I
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
sure I
I'm gonna
follow
pass
you.
it to Dolan in just a second. Except you're no longer a caveman, so that excuse went out in the 50s. Thanks. Okay, moving on.
I,
And
I knew that was gonna come around, but
yeah,
look at the
no,
reality. No, and I love it, and I love it. That's why we have this communication, and I love it. The reason why I say that is because I have friends that they're not hunters. They wait and see what happens, and then depending upon that, they think about it, and they still think about it, and then they make the move. But by the time they make the move, another hunter just went through.
So
So
in
There's
reality, John, they need men need because now men have been buoyed by Hollywood and Disney, and they they've been taught not to be manly. I don't know if you guys, I'm explaining myself correctly. Through the television, for many years, they've been showing the men as the not so smart one, not so strong one. Do you guys see what I'm saying? The part about the TV and so how they have made men be more like soft instead of being strong. So it's like it's something that men can help with. Of like you need to take initiative. You need to know what you want, and you're a man, you're a leader. I need to lead life, what you want, and go out and get it. So that's like another topic, but I think that men can get some help with that. But I wanted to say something about when Kara said about controlling people and Irina. Nobody wants to be controlled. So when you meet a person and they like, you say they like rock. If I rock, can you really tell me, oh, darling, I really don't want to like rock anymore? Like, that's not gonna go. Like let's say I like bachata, like Johnny Bachata. I like bachata, right? You're not gonna tell me that I really don't like bachata. So can you not like it anymore? Because it makes me feel no, please. That's not something you're gonna change in me, right?
sounds like a you
So
problem.
and nobody wants. No, the thing is that you either love me with what I carry. You I need to be loved by who I am and with what I have, habits and all. We can improve, but we're not going to be someone else because if somebody tells you, "Oh, I want to be with you for the rest of my life," but you need to change A, B, C, and D so that you really want to be with me.
And you don't want me.
then you can look at the last the third to last letter, and you can become my ex.
So it's about honoring.
Yeah, that's why we have that show, call it Love It or Shove It. So to each its own. It's very important to recognize all our differences and to know exactly what we want and to have people in our space who are very much like us.
Hmm.
And we don't have time today to unpack all of it, but I think socially, so we'll do this when we do more relationships next Monday. We'll start to
Yes, with
unpack some
Kara.
of this. But socially, yes, men have been told what it is to be manly for hundreds of thousands of years. Women have
Ooga,
been
ooga.
told what it is to be feminine for hundreds of thousands of years. And then come to find out, you don't have to be masculine or feminine. You can just be a human being. And that's relatively like the last 100 years of our society. That's really been the direction we're headed. And it's new and it's hard. And it takes wholly bunches of new forms of communication and unpacking of all of those things that we're like, well, is this because somebody told me this is how I have to be? Or do I actually feel like that's who I am? And that's why relationships are so important, because unpacking that garbage is a ton, like a lifetime of work, and having somebody else there to help you unpack it is really beneficial.
Yes.
So true. So true.
Hmm. So with this said, does anybody else wants to add anything before we say goodbye until the next show?
I just want to add, we are starting our new talk show, Love It or Shove It, and it's all going to be about relationship. It's very, very controversial because all it is just talking about different types of relationship, talking about who likes what, and be comfortable with that and be okay with that and not put in any labels or judgment because there are a lot of taboo topics that people are not really vocal about. And I think this is wrong because we just have to express who we are and be okay with that and just carry ourselves with that. So, guys, stay tuned. It's going to be every Wednesdays. It's going to run on multiple platforms. I'm going to get more information on that. And I'll see you all. And I wish all of you great relationship. And remember, relationship is the work. It's the same work as we have our career. It's the same work as we are as our parents. It's the same work as we are as our children to our parents. So don't underestimate and don't overlook saying, let's say, if you found that special someone, and if you're committed, if you got married, that's it, your work is done. No, it requires even more work to go forward and to connect on a deeper level and to understand each other better, because it's just, like nothing is steady. Everything is a moving experience. So the point is to grow and evolve together. People have to inspire each other, people have to motivate each other, people have to be there for each other. That's what I call a true relationship.
And don't forget also Monday at 7 p.m. She's also having her other workshop here on
Today,
lifebalance.net.
yes.
So don't forget today, 7 p.m. Also, if you want to connect with Darlene Espiana, or client relationship specialist, you can follow her on Facebook. Anything you would like to add, Darlene?
Yes, I wanted to add to focus that love does not keep people together. Love has been um, made like the main thing, and respect, I would say, should precede love. And to respect, we need to know each other for who we authentically are to see if we can actually respect that, and then we can love that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Agree.
I'm gonna finish on that. In my house, we say I love you, but we also say, more importantly, I like you. I like you as a person, and I like you in my life, because you can love somebody and want them nowhere near your existence. I have many people who I love dearly and I wish nothing but the best for them. And please never contact me again. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
But I like the people in
Love
my
it, I shove it.
That is true. And also, Kara has her leadership, Empower Leadership Training, July 21st on Kennewick, Washington. So if you're local from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., there's a link. Please follow the link and you can connect with her through Facebook. She has an amazing Facebook group. So please join.
We do a
And
weekly
besides,
review every Monday. So Cara Corner, Cara Corner on Facebook. And we will review last week so that you can make moves this week. So you don't have to move mountains. You can just move grains of sand and still get the mountain moved.
there we go. And also, next Monday, we're going to keep going with relationships, but Kara is going to go ahead and take the lead on this one. So we'll
Yay.
go from there. And for me, thank you very much, everybody, for watching today with Highlight Reviews. So if you need any assistance with your reputation management or digital marketing, web development, I'm here for you. So till next one, everybody.